Hey guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. For this video, as you can tell by the title, we are diving into the topic of synchronicity and how it is supporting you in this very moment. But before we jump into this video, make sure to follow me on all my social medias. The usernames are down below, and make sure to subscribe to this channel for a new video every week. And without further ado, let's jump right into this video. So the other day, I posted a TikTok video and it mentioned the word synchronicity, and someone commented, "What is synchronicity?" And I was surprised because I just assumed that everyone knew what synchronicity was. But whenever I saw that comment, I was like, this is a great opportunity to make a YouTube video diving deeper into the subject. So for anyone that doesn't know what it is or kind of heard of it and still don't know exactly what it is, then let's talk about it. So basically what synchronicity is meaningful coincidences, and it's rooted in the belief that we are connected to a higher entity, a higher self, and this higher self or this higher entity resides in a space of pure potentiality. And what pure potentiality is basically limitless possibilities. My first introduction to synchronicity was through James Redfield and his book, The Celestine Vision, and I highly recommend it. And I just want to read how he described synchronicity. He said, "Synchronicity is a causal principle in the universe and a law operated to move human beings toward greater growth and consciousness. And examples of synchronicities are like night dreams, chance meetings, seeing or thinking of an old friend, or getting information at just the right time." I know that we've all had experiences like that where we receive some information at just the right time, or we have dreams that relate to something that is going on in our lives, or we have meetings with people that just feel right and aligned with what we're trying to do in life. And because synchronicity is a principle in the universe that is trying to evolve consciousness, it is here to support you in your dreams and your intentions. But it's important to note that these intentions and these dreams have to be aligned with the intentions of the universe and God, which is always rooted in kindness, growth, and evolution and love. So anything negative that people are trying to manifest will not be supported by synchronicity, or anything that is going to be detrimental to your growth will not be supported by synchronicity. That's why sometimes when we are trying to manifest something and it's just not coming, it could be for one or two reasons. One, we just gotta wait a little bit longer and exercise patience, or two, that thing is just not meant for us. So one side, synchronicity is in the works and you just have to be patient, and on the other end, synchronicity is just like, nah fam, that just ain't for you. That's why it's really hard to really put manifestation and synchronicity in a box, because there's so many layers to it. Even though it's simple, like the steps to manifest things in your life is simple, but there's little laws and principles that a lot of people want to overlook because it's so easy to be like, oh yeah, anything you want to desire, just put it out there in the universe and it will come to you. But there's so many laws, like laws of detachment, laws of least effort, the law of giving, the law of pure potentiality, that is all in the works, that has to be in the works for things to manifest and come about in your life. Because I don't want to make it sound like it's some complex thing that takes intricate action and all this other stuff and all this complex thinking. It's not like that. Manifestation is very simple. It's just that whenever a lot of people talk about it, they neglect to mention a lot of the key principles and laws that we need to be aware of in order for our desires and our dreams to manifest effortlessly. And a part of that is being aware of synchronicity and how it is supporting you right in this very moment. And another thing with synchronicity is, because it's so simple and it's straightforward, whatever question you have, like, oh, what should I do next? What should I do about this deal? What should I do about this business? You can literally ask. I remember reading a book recently. They basically said that because we live in a universe that is a call and response relationship, we could literally ask flat out, plain as day, out loud, a question that we have and need an answer to. And we have to just be aware and alert for the answer to come. It may not be in the form that we want it to be, but it will come. But sometimes in special circumstances, if you are specific with the kind of answer that you want, like for example, you know how some people are like, hey God, universe, if I am meant to do this, I need an obvious sign. I need a blatant sign. Send me 3 blue butterflies if this is the right decision. Or show me a billboard with a rainbow and a chicken on it and I will know. And that response may or may not come. But when it does, I've heard so many testimonies of people doing this and they're like, it's insane how things like that could happen in the world. And people are just like, oh yeah, whatever. Like that's literally like magical if you think about it. And so if you stay aligned and in tune with yourself, your inner self, you will start learning how to spot these signs. So I have an example of a synchronistic event that happened to me last summer. So basically I've been working on a book for the past like year and a half. And when I went to Hawaii last summer for 2 months to work on this bee farm, I was still working on this book like every day. And I really didn't ask the universe or God to give me any sign regarding the book, but I was just living my life and writing my book. Okay, so as I was editing this video, I realized that I was being so cryptic and weird as I was telling this story with leaving out specific details as if I was leaking this woman's address. And so I just wanted to retell the story because I felt like it was kind of long the way I initially told it. So basically what happened was I ended up going to Hawaii for 2 months and I was volunteering on this bee farm for a work exchange type thing. So basically I got accommodation and food staples in exchange for volunteer work every week. And so this particular day I was working at the bee stand on the PM shift because every week we get a schedule and either we work the AM or PM. And I remember sitting down at the stand by myself, and usually when customers come up we say, hey, how are you doing, where are you from? And so this particular day a couple came and I was like, hey, where are you guys from? And they were like, oh, we're from Seattle. I was like, that's crazy. I'm literally going to Seattle in 3 weeks because I'm going to go visit a college friend. And they're like, oh, that's cool. And so as they came to the bee stand to look at some honey and buy coffee, we were just chatting about, small like chit chat things. And we ended up on the topic of where I went to school and what I majored in. And so when we started talking about that, I majored in journalism and she was like, oh, do you like writing? I was like, yeah, I love writing. She was like, I'm actually a novelist. And I was like, that's crazy. I was like, are you self-published or are you like traditionally published? And she was like, I'm traditionally published. And I was like, oh my gosh, by who? She was like, by Simon & Schuster. And if you don't know, Simon & Schuster is like an established like big publishing company. And so I was like, oh my God, what's your book's name? I'll go check it out and all the other stuff. And quick plug, her name is Monica West and her book is called Revival Season and I highly recommend it. And we ended up exchanging contact and she was like, yeah, whenever you come to Seattle in the next few weeks, let me know, we can hang out and all this other stuff, grab coffee. And I was like, of course. And keep in mind, during this time, the whole thing just felt so aligned because as they were walking down, I was actually working on my book because at the bee stand it's so slow. You only get customers here and there most days. And so especially on most PM shifts, I only got a few customers. So to have all that happen, especially while I was writing my book, I just knew that that was a synchronistic event, especially when it came to the detail of her living in Seattle and I was going to be in Seattle in the next few weeks. Excuse me. And so once you think about like, oh, what if I wasn't working the PM shift, or what if I wasn't working on my book? Would I have felt the same way with everything feeling aligned? I don't know, but that's the story. Back to the video. I knew ever since I was like a preteen that synchronicity was a thing. And there's another quote I want to read by James Redfield that dives even deeper into what we're talking about right now. He says, synchronicities start with a background sense of the truth we are here to tell. A truth that is becoming ever more clear and manifests first in the form of our prime question and then in the question most urgent in our current situation. Afterward comes an intuition, a mental image of something happening, of ourselves taking some sort of action in order to pursue the answer to this question. If we pay attention, an actual opportunity approximating our intuition will occur, bringing in answers and feeling perfectly synchronistic. So like I said earlier, this basically reminds us that sometimes it may not be a question that we are aware of, but it could be an intuitive question that we have that the universe or God is answering, and in the form of aligned and synchronistic events that is too coincidental to be a coincidence. Our inner wisdom guides us each and every day. We just have to pay attention and stay alert to the signs it is giving us. And in moments that we need an urgent answer, we could literally ask. Don't be afraid to ask and just wait for an answer. So to start closing out this video, here are literally 2 simple ways you could start tapping into synchronicity. And the first thing is, which is what James Redfield recommends, is to start incorporating drift time. And how he explains this is he basically says is time where we are doing nothing but hanging out, clicking through stations on television, flipping through the newspaper, or walking down the street, alert to the world around us. And in a world where we are so glued to our phones and we're so addicted to stimulation, this is important because we have become a culture that is so numb to silence and sitting with ourselves and doing things without headphones in and constantly doing multiple things at a time. Drift time is what we need more of in our lives, especially now more than ever, because I think he wrote the book back in the 90s, or early 2000s, I want to say. But drift time is so important because I can't tell you how many times things have happened where if I was listening to my music or doing some other things and not just like allowing myself to be, I would have missed out on opportunities of meeting people, seeing things I would not have seen if I was looking down at my phone. Synchronicities can be so subtle or so overt, but like in order to pick up those subtleties, you have to allow yourself to be sometimes without stimulations, without distractions, without your mind being preoccupied with something. And the second thing is to just be open and receptive to synchronicities, because sometimes if people aren't spiritual, and like I hate saying that because honestly I believe everyone is a like spiritual being living a human experience, so technically everyone is spiritual, but if you're tapped into that spirituality and that spiritual consciousness, then you know how important it is to be open and receptive to synchronicities. If you're not, you will try to explain it away as a coincidence, as something that's just like, oh, that's weird, that's funny that happened, but you don't take the time to actually think, what is that trying to show me? How is that relating to what has happened or what is to come? That is pretty much all for this video. If you guys enjoyed this conversation, please let me know down below and let me know what other topics you want us to talk about and discuss. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button down below for a new video every week. Yes, I said a new video every week, and make sure to stay inspired, and Aaliyah loves you.